And for the last set of notes for Chapter 3, we're going to combine Section 3 and 4. Section 3 is the endocrine system, and Section 4 takes a look at heredity. The main idea for the endocrine system. The endocrine system produces hormones that affect growth, development, and some behaviors. You have two reading-focused questions. What are the three major glands of the endocrine system, and how do they affect the body? And what are the testes and ovaries, and what are their functions? The endocrine system consists of glands that secrete substances called hormones. The first one is the pituitary gland. It lies just below the hypothalamus in the middle of the brain. It secretes hormones that include human growth hormone, prolactin, and oxytocin. Some pituitary hormones stimulate other endocrine glands, such as the adrenals, thyroid, and ovaries or testes. The second is the thyroid gland. It produces the hormone thyroxine. Thyroxine affects the body's metabolism. Too little thyroxine can cause hypothyroidism or cretinism, and too much thyroxine can cause hyperthyroidism. The third one is the adrenal glands. They are located above the kidneys. The outer layer or cortex secretes corticosteroids. Corticosteroids increase resistance to stress, promote muscle development, and make the liver release stored sugar to provide energy during emergencies. The adrenal glands produce adrenaline and noradrenaline. And here is a visual of the endocrine system. The glands of the endocrine system secrete hormones that stimulate various body functions. You can see pituitary gland, thyroid gland, your adrenal glands, and then depending on your sex, you would have ovaries or testes. In your first reading check, what body processes do the pituitary, thyroid, and adrenal glands influence? Ovaries and testes. Ovaries in females and testes in males produce hormones that influence sexual development and functions. Both glands produce estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Estrogen and progesterone are female sex hormones that regulate the menstrual cycle. Estrogen has psychological as well as biological effects. Low levels of estrogen and progesterone are found in males. Testosterone is the primary male sex hormone. It aids the growth of muscle and bone. It aids development of primary and secondary sex characteristics, and small amounts are found in females. Teens and anabolic steroid use. Use of anabolic steroids among teenagers has decreased over the last 10 years. However, teens who continue to use steroids do not always know what can happen as a result. Here are some effects of the use of anabolic steroids on the bodies of teenagers. You can go ahead, pause, and read through that. Your next reading check. What hormones are produced by the ovaries and the testes? And Section 3, at a glance, the endocrine system secretes hormones that stimulate growth and many kinds of reactions, such as activity levels and moods. The major endocrine glands include the pituitary, the thyroid, the adrenals, the testes, and the ovaries. Section 4 takes a look at heredity, our genetic background. The main idea. Heredity is the transmission of characteristics from parent to offspring. Both heredity and environment shape an individual's personal traits. Your reading focus. What are the roles of genes and chromosomes in heredity? What are the main points of the nature-nurture issue? And what are kinship studies? Heredity is the transmission of characteristics from parents to offspring. Psychologists study heredity to understand people's behavior. Genes are the building blocks of heredity. Genes are found in thread-like structures called chromosomes. Genes are composed of DNA. Most normal human cells have 46 pairs of chromosomes divided into 23 pairs. In each pair, one chromosome is from the father and one is from the mother. In the 23rd pair, it determines your gender. When a child is born without all 46 chromosomes, physical and behavioral disorders may result. And you can map genetic disorders on the chromosomes. This computer illustration shows how scientists have been able to locate genetic disorders on numbered pairs of chromosomes. Your first reading check: how are genes different from chromosomes? Nature versus nurture. The debate over the role of biology in determining who we are as people is called the nature-nurture issue. Nature refers to what people inherit, and nurture refers to environmental factors. Nature supporters argue that biological makeup primarily determines people's traits and personalities. Nurture supporters argue that the environment and everyday experiences determine how we behave and think. Both views are extreme. Most psychologists think that both nature and nurture determine psychological traits, and the role of heredity is still a controversial topic. Your next reading check: why do psychologists agree that heredity is not destiny? Kinship studies. Kinship studies focus on the roles that heredity and environment play in determining a trait. Kinship refers to the degree to which people are related. In twin studies, the studies of identical and fraternal twins provide a way to learn about relative influence of nature and nurture. Psychologists also study children who have been adopted to look for relative similarities between children and their adoptive and biological families. One of the most useful types of kinship studies focuses on twins who have been reared apart. Lack of common experiences make it more likely that similarities are attributable to genetic factors. And your reading check for this section: why are studies of twins useful to psychologists? Section 4, at a glance. Heredity plays a key role in the development of individuals' traits. Heredity is transmitted through genes, which are found in chromosomes. Kinship studies allow researchers to determine the influence of heredity and environment on individuals. And that is it for Chapter 3, our nervous system.